I remember my very first attempt at meditation. It was a quiet morning, and I thought to myself, today I'm going to finally find that inner peace everyone talks about. I sat down, closed my eyes, and took a deep breath. But almost immediately, a flood of thoughts bombarded my mind. My to-do list, a conversation I had yesterday, my worries about the future. They were all there, competing for my attention. It was overwhelming. I thought, I'm failing at this. I kept trying to clear my mind, but the more I tried, the louder it seemed to get. I remember feeling frustrated and thinking, why can't I do this like everyone else? I was striving so hard to make my mind still, but in doing so, I was creating more noise. And that's when it hit me. What if I was going about this all wrong? What if trying to silence the mind was actually making it worse? What if the answer wasn't in doing something, but rather in simply being with whatever was already there? Historically, the goal of meditation has often been very clear. Find inner peace through controlling the mind. Whether it's through focusing on the breath, chanting a mantra, or emptying the mind of thoughts, these techniques all stem from the belief that peace can only be found by controlling, suppressing, or even eliminating the constant stream of thoughts that we experience. For centuries, meditation was seen as a skill to be learned, a process of doing something, like forcing the mind into submission. The idea was simple. If you could still your thoughts and remain calm amidst chaos, you would achieve a higher state of consciousness, or enlightenment. The goal was silence, control, and mastery of the mind. But in the 20th century, a revolutionary thinker named Jiddu Krishnamurti challenged this traditional view. He proposed an entirely different approach to meditation, what he called choiceless awareness. Krishnamurti's approach was not about controlling the mind or emptying it of thoughts. Instead, it was about observing the mind without interference, without judgment, and without any agenda. This was a radical departure from traditional practices, which emphasize control and striving. Krishnamurti believed that the very act of trying to control or change the mind created conflict. The more we resist our thoughts, the stronger they become. In his view, true peace and freedom come not from attempting to control the mind, but from seeing it clearly as it is, without trying to modify it in any way. This is where choiceless awareness comes in, a state of simple, non-judgmental observation of thoughts and feelings, without any need to label or analyze. It's the practice of just being with what is, without trying to change it. And that's the question I want to explore with you today. What if true meditation isn't about silencing the mind or mastering the self? What if it's about something far simpler and yet far more profound? Just being aware, without choice, without judgment? When we meditate, something incredible happens inside our brain. Brain scans of a meditating mind versus a distracted mind reveal profound differences. The first thing we notice is that during meditation, especially mindfulness practices, there's increased activity in the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for focus, decision-making, and self-control. When we're lost in thought, we can see that the default mode network, DMN, is active. This is the brain network responsible for mind wandering, daydreaming, and self-referential thoughts. Essentially, it's the part of our brain that's constantly playing movies of the past or the future, taking us out of the present moment. When we meditate, particularly with mindfulness practices like choiceless awareness, we start to see a reduction in this network's activity and an increase in the parts of the brain associated with present moment awareness. Now, what's fascinating is how choiceless awareness, the practice we're exploring, doesn't just quiet the mind temporarily, It changes the way our brain works. In choiceless awareness, we simply observe thoughts without reacting to them. This observation reduces the emotional charge attached to thoughts, decreasing stress and anxiety. In this state, the amygdala, which is responsible for our fight or flight response, becomes less activated. This is a crucial shift because it means that over time, you're rewiring your brain to respond less impulsively to stress. Instead of the mind reacting with fear, frustration, or judgment, it begins to respond with calm observation. So, when we talk about choiceless awareness, we're not just talking about observing thoughts. We're talking about reshaping the way our brains process and respond to these thoughts, leading to long-term benefits in emotional regulation and enhanced focus. Now, let's talk about a common issue many people face in traditional meditation practices: the pitfall of striving. In most meditation techniques, we're taught to focus on something, whether it's our breath, a mantra, or visualizing peaceful imagery. This is all about controlling the mind, trying to keep our focus in one place and avoid distractions. But here's the problem: striving actually creates more tension. Let me explain. When we try to control our thoughts, what we're doing is creating a resistance to what's already happening in our mind. This resistance fuels frustration and stress. You've probably experienced it: sitting down to meditate, trying to force your thoughts to stop, and only ending up feeling more overwhelmed than before. What happens when we let go of the need to control? We stop resisting. And when we stop resisting, the mind doesn't fight back. We become more at ease with whatever arises. The more we practice this kind of awareness, the more our minds shift toward this state of non-reactive observation, leading to a quieter, more peaceful mind in the long run. So, in essence, the more we stop striving and start allowing the thoughts to be there without trying to fix or change them, the more we find ourselves entering that natural state of peace, clarity, and freedom. Now, let's dive deeper into what choiceless awareness actually is and how it differs from traditional forms of meditation. To begin with, choiceless awareness isn't about trying to focus or control the mind. In traditional meditation, we often set a goal, like concentrating on the breath, focusing on a mantra, or even clearing our mind of all thoughts. But choiceless awareness takes a radically different approach. It's about simply observing the mind without interference. The core idea is to experience things exactly as they are. We don't try to force thoughts away or focus on a specific object. Instead, we just notice whatever is present in the mind without any judgment or preference. Let me share two analogies that can help illustrate this idea. Think of the mind like a mirror. A mirror doesn't judge what it reflects. If you stand in front of a mirror, it will simply reflect whatever is in front of it, whether that's a beautiful face, an empty room, or a pile of laundry. It doesn't decide what to reflect, and it doesn't label anything as good or bad. It just reflects. In the same way, choiceless awareness asks us to observe the mind without labeling or trying to change what we see. The thoughts, feelings, and sensations in our mind are like the reflections in the mirror. They are just what is present in that moment, and we simply witness them without interference. Another analogy is to compare the mind to the sky. Our thoughts are like clouds passing through it. Some clouds are light and wispy, while others are dark and stormy. But no matter what, the sky remains unchanged. It simply allows the clouds to pass through. In choiceless awareness, we are the sky, and our thoughts are like clouds. We don't need to try to push the clouds away or hold on to the sunny ones. We just let them pass, observing them without attachment or judgment. This is the essence of choiceless awareness: being present with whatever arises in the mind without the need to control or direct it. Now, Let's go a bit deeper into the concept of the observer versus the observed, a key element of Krishnamurti's philosophy. We often believe that the observer, the part of us that notices things, is separate from the observed, the thoughts, feelings, and experiences we encounter. We think there is a me inside who is watching the thoughts, who can control them or push them away. But Krishnamurti challenges this fundamental assumption. He asks a profound question. Is the observer separate from the observed? In other words, is there really a you watching your thoughts? Or are you actually those thoughts in the moment? Let's think about this in terms of the ego. We have an idea of the self, the me, that is separate from everything else. This ego is what believes it can control thoughts, suppress emotions, and direct attention. But Krishnamurti suggests that the ego, as we know it, is an illusion. The self that is trying to control thoughts is not separate from those thoughts. It is actually a part of the same stream of awareness. In philosophy, we often hear the phrase, the thinker and the thought are one. This is what Krishnamurti means. The idea of a separate self is an illusion. The you who is watching your thoughts is the same as the thoughts themselves. They are not two separate entities. They are part of the same flow of experience. This realization is powerful because it means that when we observe thoughts without judgment, we are not separating ourselves from them. Instead, we become fully present with them, in their entirety, without the need to control or change them. Absolutely separati. Absolutely separati. Let's now do a simple exercise together to explore the idea of the observer and the observed. Start by finding a comfortable position and gently close your eyes. Bring your awareness to your thoughts. What's on your mind right now? Is there a particular thought that stands out? Now, with that thought in mind, ask yourself, who is observing this thought? Is there a part of you that is separate from the thought, watching it like an outsider? Or is the observer the same as the thought itself? Take a moment to notice. Is the observer, the part of you that is aware of the thought, really separate from it? Or is it part of the same experience? You might notice that the moment you begin to question this, the sense of separation starts to fade. There's no me, separate from the thought, just awareness. It's as if the observer is the same as the thought, just different aspects of the same process of experience. As you reflect on this, remember that this exercise isn't about finding an answer or making sense of it. It's just about noticing. No need to judge or label the experience, just observe it as it is. This exercise is a powerful way to begin breaking down the illusion of separation between the observer and the observed. As we practice choiceless awareness, we move beyond the idea of a controlling self and simply rest in the awareness of the present moment. There's no need to grasp, reject, or control. Just observe, just be. This is the heart of Krishnamurti's teaching and the foundation of choiceless awareness meditation. In the next part of this video, we'll explore how this shift in awareness can lead to deeper peace and freedom. But for now, take a moment to reflect on your experience and notice how your mind feels after simply observing your thoughts without judgment. Now that we've explored the theory and core principles behind choiceless awareness, let's talk about how to incorporate it into our everyday lives. Because while meditation is powerful, the true magic happens when we bring this practice into real-world situations. The beautiful thing about choiceless awareness is that it's not confined to the meditation cushion. It's a way of living. It's about staying present and aware in all moments, no matter how mundane or challenging they may seem. Let's start with a common frustration, being stuck in traffic. We've all been there, right? The cars are barely moving, you're watching the clock tick, and your thoughts begin to spiral. I'm going to be late. I hate being stuck here. Why is everyone driving so slowly? It's easy to let frustration build, and we can easily lose our peace. But when you bring choiceless awareness to that moment, everything shifts. Instead of resisting the situation, you begin to simply observe your thoughts. I'm feeling irritated, you might notice. And instead of judging that feeling or trying to push it away, you just allow it to be there. You might observe the tension in your body or the impatience in your mind. Instead of fighting it, you simply notice it without needing to fix it or make it go away. The more you do this, the less power the frustration has. You become less reactive and more in touch with the present moment. Maybe you even start to notice the beauty around you, the sky, the trees, the sounds of the city. By observing without judgment, you are no longer controlled by your emotions. You are the sky, and the traffic is just another passing cloud. Another time choiceless awareness can be transformative is during difficult conversations. How often do we get caught up in arguments or debates, our emotions running high? In those moments, we're so focused on defending ourselves, trying to be heard, or wanting to prove our point, that we lose touch with the conversation itself. Choiceless awareness invites us to observe our emotions as they arise, whether it's anger, defensiveness, or frustration. Instead of reacting to what's being said, we take a step back and observe both our thoughts and the words of the other person. Imagine this scenario. You're in a heated conversation, and the other person says something that triggers you. Normally, you might react instantly, perhaps with anger or defensiveness. But with choiceless awareness, you pause and notice, I'm feeling defensive right now. You don't judge that feeling, you just observe it. And in that moment of observation, you create space between the trigger and your reaction. This space allows you to respond more thoughtfully, more calmly, and more mindfully. The shift from reaction to observation not only calms you down, but also opens up the possibility for deeper understanding and more constructive conversations. Life is full of moments that test our patience and peace. Whether it's dealing with a difficult person, facing a tight deadline, or experiencing anxiety about the future, it's easy to get swept away by the emotions of the moment. But choiceless awareness offers a way out of that cycle. Next time you feel frustration or anxiety creeping in, instead of trying to push it away or fix it, simply observe it. Notice the sensations in your body, the tightness in your chest, the racing thoughts. Allow yourself to be with the feeling without resistance or judgment. You'll find that by observing without engaging, the emotion loses its intensity. It becomes just another feeling passing through your awareness. This doesn't mean the emotion disappears instantly, but it no longer has the same grip on you. And over time, the more you practice choiceless awareness, the more these moments of anxiety or frustration become less frequent. And when they do arise, they are easier to navigate. Now, I want to make this interactive and invite you to reflect on how choiceless awareness can fit into your own life. Think about your typical day. Are there moments when you could practice choiceless awareness? Maybe you're rushing in the morning and feeling stressed. Or maybe you're dealing with a challenging conversation at work. I'd love to hear from you. Where in your life do you think choiceless awareness could make a difference? Are there situations where you find yourself getting caught in frustration or anxiety that could benefit from simply observing the moment as it is? Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. By reflecting on these situations, we begin to recognize the power of being present. We don't need to change the situation. We just need to change our relationship with it. And that's the beauty of choiceless awareness. It doesn't require any special skill or external conditions. It only requires you to observe what's already there, without resistance or judgment. Remember, choiceless awareness isn't about trying to make your life perfect or remove all discomfort. It's about learning to live with greater ease, acceptance, and peace in the midst of whatever life brings. The more we practice observing without judgment, the more naturally this state of awareness flows into every aspect of our lives. As we move forward, I encourage you to experiment with this practice in your own day-to-day moments. Notice how your relationship with your thoughts, emotions, and experiences begins to shift simply by observing them without trying to change them. While choiceless awareness can be a liberating and transformative practice, it's not without its challenges. Many people, especially in the beginning, struggle with the concept of simply observing their thoughts, emotions, and sensations without trying to control or change them. One of the most common difficulties is facing resistance, the natural instinct to fight discomfort. You might notice this when you sit down to meditate, intending to simply observe whatever arises in your mind. At first, everything might seem calm and quiet, but soon enough, you might find your thoughts becoming more intense, more chaotic. This is completely normal. You may begin to feel anxious or frustrated, thinking, "Why is this happening? Why are my thoughts getting louder the more I try to just observe?" The truth is, we are conditioned to resist discomfort. For most of us, the reflex is to either push thoughts away or distract ourselves from unpleasant feelings. Choiceless awareness, however, asks us to do the opposite, to simply observe, without reacting or trying to change anything. The more we resist, the more we create a battle in our minds. The trick is to observe that very resistance without judgment. When you notice discomfort arising, don't judge it or try to force it away. Instead, take a step back and observe it as just another part of the experience. Perhaps you'll notice physical tension in your body, a racing heart, or restless thoughts. These sensations are all part of the moment, and they don't need to be fixed. When you observe them without judgment, they begin to lose their power over you. The discomfort is no longer something you need to fight. It simply becomes another passing cloud in the sky of your awareness. As you continue practicing choiceless awareness, another key component is patience. Patience with the process and patience with yourself. One of the most powerful shifts in this practice is realizing that there's no need to rush. There's no end goal to reach, no better state to attain. Choiceless awareness isn't about achieving anything. It's about being present with what is. This is where compassion for oneself comes into play. Often, when we try to meditate or engage in mindfulness, we have an idea of how it should feel. We think that if we're not feeling calm or peaceful, we're doing something wrong. But this is a form of self-criticism that can actually hinder our progress. It's important to remind yourself that it's okay if your mind wanders, if emotions arise, or if you find yourself getting frustrated. These experiences are normal, and they don't make you a failure. In fact, they are part of the practice. Choiceless awareness invites you to simply be with these moments without judgment. If your mind wanders, that's okay. If you feel restless or frustrated, that's okay too. The goal is not to suppress or force the mind into stillness. The goal is to embrace whatever arises and meet it with openness and kindness. This is where self-compassion becomes essential. When you practice patience with yourself, you are acknowledging that the path to greater awareness is not linear. Some days will be easier than others, and that's okay. You don't need to rush the process. Just be gentle with yourself, knowing that each moment of awareness is a small step toward greater peace and understanding. To wrap up this section, remember that choiceless awareness isn't about perfection. It's about simply being with yourself as you are in each moment. Resistance and difficulty are part of the process, but they don't need to be obstacles. By practicing patience, compassion, and acceptance, you begin to make peace with whatever arises, and through this, you discover a deeper level of freedom and ease. So, the next time you sit down to meditate or find yourself in a moment of discomfort or resistance, Remember, you don't need to control or fix anything. You only need to observe with an open heart and mind, and trust that this practice is working in its own time. Now let's dive deeper into the mind of Jiddu Krishnamurti, the man whose teachings on meditation and choiceless awareness can radically change the way we understand ourselves and our relationship with the world. Krishnamurti was deeply interested in the nature of the mind, the ego, and the self, three concepts that, according to him, are at the root of human suffering. His teachings challenge us to question everything we know about who we are and how we relate to our thoughts and feelings. Krishnamurti believed that the idea of a separate self, the I or me, was an illusion. We tend to identify ourselves with our thoughts, our desires, our experiences, and even our physical bodies. But Krishnamurti argues that this identification with the ego, the self, creates a deep divide between us and the world. He often asked, who is the observer? The you who is observing the thoughts, feelings, and experiences is not separate from them. The observer is the observed. There is no you behind your thoughts watching them from a distance. You are the thoughts, the feelings, the sensations. When we stop identifying with the self and begin to simply observe, we begin to realize that the ego, the idea of a separate self, is merely a thought. And when we can observe this thought without identification, we can start to free ourselves from the shackles of the ego. Another core aspect of Krishnamurti's teachings is his view on psychological time. We are constantly either regretting the past or anxiously anticipating the future. We measure our lives based on these mental projections. I want to be this in the future, or I was this in the past. This constant movement of the mind away from the present moment creates a form of psychological time that keeps us trapped in cycles of desire, fear, and anxiety. Krishnamurti argued that psychological time is the root cause of human suffering. The past is a memory, and the future is a projection. These mental constructs prevent us from truly living in the present. Choiceless awareness is the antidote to this. It is about observing the mind without the distortion of past regrets or future anxieties. When we observe the present moment as it is, free from the conditioning of time, we enter a state of pure awareness, where freedom from psychological time is possible. Krishnamurti put it beautifully in one of his lectures. The moment you recognize that psychological time is a movement of thought, then you realize that you are living outside time, in the timeless present. Choiceless awareness invites us to drop the weight of psychological time and to live fully in the here and now. Now that we've explored some of Krishnamurti's key teachings, I want to invite you to reflect on these ideas. Think about how they apply to your own life and your meditation practice. First, let's consider the concept of control. Krishnamurti emphasized that trying to control the mind only leads to more resistance. So, here's a question for you. How do you relate to the idea that trying to control the mind only creates more resistance? Have you ever experienced this in your own life? Perhaps when you tried to control your thoughts during meditation, only to find that they became more intense. Or maybe when you resisted a feeling of frustration, it only seemed to grow stronger. How do you feel when you let go of trying to control your thoughts or emotions? Have you ever felt that observing your thoughts without judgment led to a sense of relief? I'd love to hear about moments in your life where you've practiced choiceless awareness, even in small ways. Maybe you didn't label your feelings or react to them, and in that moment, you experienced a sense of relief or freedom. Or maybe you struggled with it, but that struggle led to a new realization. How did it feel to simply observe without judgment? I invite you to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Reflecting on how you've interacted with your thoughts and whether observing them brings a sense of peace can help you deepen your practice of choiceless awareness and further understand Krishnamurti's teachings. Krishnamurti's teachings challenge us to question the very nature of our minds and selves. By exploring the illusion of the ego, the nature of psychological time, and the power of choiceless awareness, we come to realize that true freedom lies in the present moment. This freedom doesn't come from controlling or changing our thoughts, but from simply observing them without attachment or judgment. As you reflect on these ideas, remember that the process of observation and awareness is not about achieving something. It's about being with whatever arises, without resistance, without effort, and without expectation. Before we begin the guided meditation, let's take a moment to create a peaceful space. Find a comfortable position, either sitting or lying down. If you can, close your eyes gently. Take a moment to settle into the space around you. Let the noise of the world fall away for a while. You don't need to do anything or change anything, just be present. Make sure you're in a space where you feel comfortable and free of distractions. If you'd like, you can use soft music or nature sounds in the background, something calming to help deepen the sense of peace. As you begin to settle in, notice how your body feels. Are there areas of tension? Are you comfortable, or is there a slight discomfort you can gently release? Allow yourself to let go of the need to control the body or mind right now. Just allow yourself to be. Take a few deep breaths. Inhale deeply through the nose and exhale slowly through the mouth. With each breath, let yourself become more relaxed, more present. With each exhale, let go of any tension, any thoughts of the past or future. Let yourself be in the present moment. Let your body breathe you. Set the intention for this meditation to be one of pure observation. There's no goal here, no achievement to reach. Just allow yourself to observe whatever arises without any effort to change it. This is your space for awareness, for being with whatever comes up. Now, let's begin the meditation itself. Start by bringing your awareness to your breath. Feel the sensation of the air as it enters and leaves your body. Notice the rise and fall of your chest or the sensation of the breath as it moves through your nostrils. Just observe your breath. There's nothing to do except notice it. Notice if your breath is deep or shallow, fast or slow. Simply observe it as it is, without judgment. You're not trying to control the breath. You're just aware of it. As you continue to breathe, notice if any thoughts arise. Thoughts might appear about the past, the future, or even what you're going to do after this meditation. Notice them as they come up, without trying to change them or push them away. Notice any thoughts that arise. Just observe them, without engaging, without trying to stop them. Let them come and go, just like clouds passing through the sky. You are not the thoughts. You are the observer of the thoughts. If a thought grabs your attention and you find yourself getting caught up in it, gently return to the idea of just observing. See if you can notice how your mind is moving through these thoughts, rather than becoming absorbed in them. There's no need to control or change anything, just notice. The thought is like a wave in the ocean. It's there and it passes. When you notice a thought, simply ask yourself, am I the thought or am I the observer of the thought? This simple question helps you detach from the thought and return to pure observation. As thoughts come and go, you may also notice physical sensations in your body. Maybe there's an area of tightness, a sense of warmth or coolness. Again, just observe. There's no need to label the sensations or to try and make them go away. Simply witness them. You don't need to change them. Just allow them to be. If a sensation arises, notice how it feels in your body. Just be with it, without needing to change anything. Continue in this space of observation. You may notice more thoughts or more sensations. That's okay, just observe. You don't need to interact with them. Let them be like clouds floating by, or leaves drifting in a stream. The practice is in the noticing, not in the effort to control. As thoughts or sensations arise, see if you can observe them with curiosity, not judgment. Without labeling them as good or bad, simply see them as they are and let them go when they are ready to leave. Remember, this practice isn't about being perfect at it. If your mind wanders, that's okay. Just notice that and return to the space of observation without any criticism of yourself. Now, as we near the end of this meditation, take a few moments to just be. Be with the thoughts, the sensations, and the space between. No need to change anything. Simply allow this moment to be what it is. Feel the sense of stillness that has naturally arisen through this practice of choiceless awareness. You've allowed yourself to be present without trying to control. And in doing so, you've created a space for peace. Now, gently begin to bring your awareness back to your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Feel the surface beneath you. When you're ready, open your eyes slowly, bringing with you a sense of calm observation. Notice how you feel now in the present moment. You've just practiced choiceless awareness, no striving, no judgment, just being. And as you continue this practice, remember that you can carry this awareness into your day, observing your thoughts and emotions without getting caught up in them. Take a moment to thank yourself for this time of awareness.
You've created space for peace simply by observing. There is no need to do anything else.
Now that we've finished the guided meditation, take a moment to reflect on your experience. I want to invite you to notice how you feel right now, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Often we don't give ourselves enough space to just sit with how we feel after a practice. So let's take a few moments for that. Did you find it challenging to just observe your thoughts without trying to change them? You might have noticed your mind wandering or getting caught up in a particular thought. That's completely normal. Choiceless awareness isn't about forcing the mind to stop. It's about observing what's happening without interference. What was it like for you to notice your thoughts without trying to control them? What did you notice about your mind during the meditation? Perhaps you were aware of a lot of racing thoughts, or maybe there was more space between your thoughts than usual. Did you notice any resistance, or maybe a sense of relief from not having to control the flow of thoughts? The purpose here is to just notice, without judgment, what your experience was. It's helpful to recognize that there's no right or wrong way to feel or experience this meditation. The goal isn't perfection. It's about observing and being present with whatever arises. So, allow yourself to just notice what you noticed. Now, as we near the end of this meditation, take a few moments to just be. Be with the thoughts, the sensations, and the space between. No need to change anything. Simply allow this moment to be what it is. Feel the sense of stillness that has naturally arisen through this practice of choiceless awareness. You've allowed yourself to be present without trying to control. And in doing so, you've created a space for peace. Now, gently begin to bring your awareness back to your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Feel the surface beneath you. When you're ready, open your eyes slowly, bringing with you a sense of calm observation. Notice how you feel now in the present moment. You've just practiced choiceless awareness. No striving, no judgment, just being. And as you continue this practice, remember that you can carry this awareness into your day, observing your thoughts and emotions without getting caught up in them. Take a moment to thank yourself for this time of awareness.
You've created space for peace simply by observing. There is no need to do anything else.
Now that we've finished the guided meditation, take a moment to reflect on your experience. I want to invite you to notice how you feel right now, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Often we don't give ourselves enough space to just sit with how we feel after a practice. So let's take a few moments for that. Did you find it challenging to just observe your thoughts without trying to change them? You might have noticed your mind wandering or getting caught up in a particular thought. That's completely normal. Choiceless awareness isn't about forcing the mind to stop. It's about observing what's happening without interference. What was it like for you to notice your thoughts without trying to control them? What did you notice about your mind during the meditation? Perhaps you were aware of a lot of racing thoughts, or maybe there was more space between your thoughts than usual. Did you notice any resistance, or maybe a sense of relief from not having to control the flow of thoughts? The purpose here is to just notice, without judgment, what your experience was. It's helpful to recognize that there's no right or wrong way to feel or experience this meditation. The goal isn't perfection. It's about observing and being present with whatever arises. So, allow yourself to just notice what you noticed. As we come to the end of this video, I want to leave you with a final reflection on choiceless awareness. This practice can bring about a profound shift in how we relate to ourselves and the world around us. The beauty of choiceless awareness is that it isn't about doing anything to change the mind. It's about creating space for peace by simply observing whatever is already there. Every time you practice, whether through meditation or throughout your daily life, you are training yourself to respond to life without judgment, without resistance, and with acceptance. Over time, you'll start to notice how this practice helps you cultivate more clarity, presence, and freedom in the midst of whatever life brings. Remember, this is not about being perfect or achieving a certain state of mind. It's about creating space for whatever arises, whether it's joy, frustration, or peace, and allowing it to be without interference. When we stop fighting our thoughts and feelings, they lose their power over us, and we create more room for genuine peace and understanding. Before we end, I'd love to hear from you. Please share your experience in the comments below. How did you feel during the meditation? Did you notice anything new about your thoughts or emotions? How do you think you can integrate choiceless awareness into your daily life? Feel free to share any questions you have as well. I'd love to continue the conversation with you. If you enjoyed this video and would like more content on mindfulness, meditation, and philosophical insights, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out. We'll be diving deeper into Krishnamurti's teachings in future videos, so stay tuned. Thank you for joining me in this practice today. Take a moment to appreciate yourself for taking the time to be present and aware. I look forward to hearing about your experiences and continuing this journey of awareness together. Take care, and remember, peace is not something you achieve, it's something you simply observe.